To women having to choose between their career.
Oh, okay.
So don't get your head in the shot.
Okay.
We need to ensure that someone just doesn't call the glass ceiling repair. Pleasure of bringing to the stage the founder and fearless leader of the Women's March Alliance, and also my dear friend, Catherine Simianko.
We thought it was
all right, is this on? My hands are free! Woo! First of all, give it up to the volunteers. We're 100% volunteer driven here today. Thank you, volunteers! We are not the same women we were 2 years ago. We've changed. We're stronger. We've thrust the door to equality open with such a force. We've knocked it off its hinges. We've prevented it from ever closing on another woman again. The power of women has broken through. We can't put it back now. We're halfway there. We're done apologizing. We're not asking for permission. We've taken our future into our own hands because we can't hold it back anymore. These gifts that women have to give our world, we're ready to give them. We've moved from suffrage to Senate, and that's just the beginning. We have found our courage, and we will never go back to silence. We are marching today to remind ourselves, to remind those watching, that together we've changed. Together we are change. And together we will continue to change. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here on this cool day. Thank you for supporting women's rights.
Activist, unabashed, small business owner who hopes not hiding her transgender past might help someone to stop hiding their future. She mentors trans people.
Oh, thank you. How's it? Oh, is sorry. It bad? It's not terrible. You just got a little wiped off the bottom of your lip, and now it just looks like your skin. No, you made it worse. Okay, you might just want to retouch the very bottom there. Okay.
I think we're doing fine. He's talking to Juliana, so I can't hear.
That's what I mean. Are they on with you?
Thank you to the Women's March Alliance, and oh my God, there's so many beautiful people out here. My name is Hannah Simpson. I am a Jew, and I am a transgender woman, and this is my city. When I came out to my parents in Jersey a decade ago, Dad asked me flat out, "Is the world ready for you?" Mom was more blunt. You know, these breasts make my back hurt, right? Do you really want back pain? I can give you back pain. This was my welcome to everything that is complicated about being a woman. I got a Jewish mother's earful, but the real lesson was, don't let any of it get in your way. For decades, I thought I had a deep, dark secret I could never tell anyone. Honestly, I thought I was a freak, an imposter. It took 28 years for me to slowly pour out the scariest thing I could imagine, but something I never could have expected happened. The women around me embraced me and shared their secrets right back. One by one, so many ladies I confided in with my story, shared their hidden stories of harassment, assault, and rape, of troubled eating and self-harm. They had excruciating periods, pregnancy pains, and depression while still conquering school, work, parenthood, or all three at once. Because that is what our society expects a woman to be capable of. It didn't matter that my path to womanhood was different. I am part of the sisterhood now, and sharing my challenges has been as contagious, has been contagious. Even in hiding, I now know that I was never alone. Because we are out here today sharing our realness, now more than ever, at a time when our very humanity is being tested by an administration that deals in ignorance, lies, and hate. But do not feel resigned. Do not feel resigned. It is our president who should feel resigned. Ready or not as I was, people like you have made the world ready for me. We have come far already, but we have work yet to do. We must be the safety net for the trans children today, still facing more vitriol than ever in their unaccepting parents' dinner tables. Far too often, I answer anonymous calls for help, asking me whether to keep closeted in agony or risk losing their homes or their lives. I say, look at these people. Look at all these people who will love you just as you are. Because we are not obsessed with humans peeing. We are focused on humans being. Asserting our own freedom of expression is perhaps the greatest expression of freedom we have. So we are marching for all the confident girls, NBs, and boys who will know that intimacy, reproduction, or neither can be on their terms. But enthusiastic consent is what one seeks to grab or be grabbed by anyone, anywhere, anytime. We are writing equal rights into the Constitution. Better late than never. Because we choose to define traditions rather than accept traditional definitions. Our girls will know that their voices matter just as much as their peers in every executive boardroom or legislator. And they will vote, and they will run. And they will run. Because equality is not served by President 46 being female, but by 46 females being president. We are marching for the girls who write code and science fiction to realize the promises of tomorrow. It will take the minds of our generation, all of them, to tackle the true social justice causes of our day, like climate change. Pussy hats are bright pink to remind you that there is a brain underneath every single one. We march as we are able, with feet, with prosthetics, or wheels, or with words, as not all women's bodies and brains function the same. And not all have enough spoons to fight the fight on any given day. And lastly, we march for the women taken from us, because the violence and the excuses must end. I carry 4 with me today, and I ask you to think about those you bring. Islan Nettles, a budding trans fashion designer, 21, beaten to brain death just uptown from here in Harlem because a weak, worthless man felt fooled. Heather Hare, 32, run down in Charlottesville, resisting her community's intimidation because it was the right thing to do. Shira Banki, just 16, in Jerusalem, Israel, dancing in her capital's Pride March, celebrating with her queer friends, until she was stabbed. And Jacqueline Cal, 7, just 7, of Guatemala, who died in U.S. custody last month at our southern border. As we say in my faith, Zichronan livracha, may their memories be a blessing by which to guide and inspire us. Today is a day to listen to those around you and to speak for the women who suffer in silence and the women who have been silenced. So I am standing here today with you, a woman, because not hiding my past might help someone else to stop hiding her future. So thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Hey guys, we're live in DC at the Women's March. As you can see, people are really turning out.
Got to go, hey, hey.
Hi.
Donald Trump has got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. Donald Trump has got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. Got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. Donald Trump has got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho. Donald Trump has got to go, hey, hey. Ho, ho.
Good morning, New York City! Are we ready to start a ruckus? Because I sure am. Thank you all so much for continuing and being part of this movement and the long history of women not taking nonsense. This is, like many folks, this is my third Women's March from our first in 2017, our second in 2018, and now our third in 2019. In 2017, I attended my first Women's March, and I went to the DC Women's March, where it was with the culmination of cities and demonstrations across the country. It was the largest single demonstration in American history of its kind. So I'm so thankful to join in that tradition. And to that time in 2017, I went there to DC, and we marched on the Capitol. And I saw the Capitol building. I had just come from Standing Rock, and let's thank our sisters who opened our ceremonies today. And I saw that Capitol, and a shiver went up my spine. I did not know then that I would run for Congress. But several months later, I launched my campaign. And last year, we elected the first freshman class that was about 50% women, new members. This is so incredibly important, and it's so incredibly important to uplift all of our voices and to make sure that the least among us is advocated for the most. That means we will not be quiet when it comes to the rights of Black women. That means we will not be quiet when it comes to the rights of trans women. That means we will not be quiet when it comes to the rights of poor women and working class women and middle class women and all women in the United States of America and the world. Last year we brought the power to the polls, and this year we need to make sure that we translate that power into policy. That means we will not let anyone take our rights away. In fact, we will expand them. That means that we will pass and work to pass an equal rights amendment that ensures that all people, regardless of their gender identity, will be respected by the laws of this land. That means we will get equal pay for equal work. That means that we will have parental leave, including fathers and mothers and all parents, to make sure that we are not that we are giving our babies and our parents the time that they need to recover and start a family. But most of all, it means that this is the start of our advocacy, because we just captured the House. And now we gotta show what we're gonna do with it. So I urge you all to stay engaged, because this is a building year for our next year in 2020. Because we got the House this year, and we're gonna get all the houses next year, including the White House. So let's come together. I thank you all. Let us march. Let us march in the spirit of Fannie Lou Hamer, of Harriet Tubman, of Shirley Chisholm. Let's march in the spirit of all the women who came before us and all the women who will come after. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hey guys, we're here in DC. As you can see, the women here are excited. We opened up the Women's March activities yesterday with the Indigenous Peoples March at 8 a.m., followed by a Medicare for All lobby day on Capitol Hill, led by the Women's March and the Center for Popular Democracy, where women were advocating for Congresswoman Jaya Paul's bill to introduce Medicare for all to Americans. Do you mind talking to me a little bit?
Wanted to.
Hi. What brings you out here today?
To be with everybody, to bring ethics back to our country. Came here for Tennessee. Just to feel the love, to feel the energy, and to make it known that we need ethics back in all of our lives.
Well, I think it's really important that you bring that up, right? This Republican president we have is not just a Republican in the traditional sense. Yes. He also has no basic sense of morality.
I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. It's not the person. We all knew what he was. It's the people like Mitch McConnell that are aiding and abetting. It's the people that are not standing up. And Sir Thomas More said, with your silence, you are agreeing. And we are not going to agree. We are not going to be silent. And we are not going away. My generation, their generation, I see these beautiful young faces and I want to weep. And I thank you for being here and all of them. We are not giving up until they plant me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're lovely.
Go to the act.tv page and see your interview with many other beautiful women out here representing. Thank you so much. Yeah, women literally have traveled from all over to be here, just like the first and the second. And as you can see, all sorts of people are turning out. It really is a beautiful thing to behold. There is an added element to this one because we are now marching in the midst of a government shutdown. We're in the middle of Washington, D.C. Do you want to talk to us?
No thanks. I just want to know where Mitch is.
We would also like to know where Mitch is. You know, Mitch McConnell has taken seriously not one single bill to reopen the government, and that's, I think, also why a lot of people are here. Would you mind speaking with us?
Hello.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Sierra Salser from Texas.
What brings you to D.C. today?
I'm here for a semester program here at the Women's March to support my sisters in fighting.
I love your sign.
Thank you.
Because, you know, her sign says equality, and it's for all of us, right?
Yes, very much.
Some of these crazy men's rights activists act as though women want female supremacy. I don't want that. Do you want that?
No, I don't want that. I want equality for all. That means intersectionality between those of different races, those of different groups, religions, anti-religious, all of those included, LGBTQI, everything. Everything's included. No supremacy here.
What are you doing for your semester in D.C.?
I'm studying political science at American University.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, you're going to make this world better for all of us, right?
Yes, I'm going to do my part, try to make a difference every little step at a time.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. The LA teacher strike?
I am from the LA teacher strike. Yay! We need help. Help us. Strike with us. Stand up for us.
I'm so glad you're here because. So, do you want to introduce yourself and tell people a little about how they can help?
Linda Schwartz. Call your representatives. Let them know how bad it is and why we're striking, and that we need all the support we have for small class sizes, for nurses in our school, for counselors, for psychologists, and for equal pay.
Well, because the situation in LA really is one that's been mirrored throughout the country, where despite having billions of dollars in the budget, none of it is being invested into the students and educators.
$2 billion in our budget that they're sitting on waiting for it to hatch.
Yeah. It's Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
It is unacceptable. Thank you. And you knew. Thank you.
Puerto Rico matters. I come all the way from Puerto Rico, Caguas, Puerto Rico, because we people, we're women, and we fighting. And we on the island, we citizens, and we deserve the right to be heard.
Yes, you 100% do. Do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Namit Reyes, and I come from Caguas, Puerto Rico, representing the island. Woo!
Thank you so much for being here. So I think what's really fascinating about this march, like many others over the past few years, is as you can see, there are a variety of reasons that are being uplifted by this specific feminist march, which is important because all these issues do tie together. They are intersectional, and I think there's a growing awareness of that fact. Hi, ladies. Do you want to talk to me? Is that okay? Hi. So we have some young women here. What brings you to the march?
We just think that Trump's not.
He's kind of disrespectful, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not respectful to women, and we think that women should have more rights. So that's why we're at the march.
I mean, I think that's awesome. What do your signs say?
My sign says girls can be anything they want, even girl dinosaurs.
That's amazing.
That's my favorite thing.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so great. Okay, so do you guys know what you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a lawyer.
Oh, that's awesome. She wants to be a lawyer. How about you?
An artist.
An artist?
I like painting.
Well, you're off to a very good start. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Bye. Enjoy the march.
Name of the TV show.
Do you want? Here, hold on.
Got it.
Oh, you got it?
I've got it. Thanks.
So I don't know if I informed you guys of this, but we are actually right in front of the Trump Hotel, which has caused a number of controversy, not just because its owner is truly a national disaster at this point, but because Trump has been siphoning off public funds to reinvest in his business. A degree of graft that we really haven't seen in our lifetimes, which is impressive because we have had some truly corrupt politicians. But here we are in the center of DC, what is the old National Post Office, now Trump Hotel. We're very close to the White House, very close to the Capitol, and this is a place where diplomats who are supposed to be meeting with the president have been spending money on his businesses. Oh, hello. Hi. Can I speak to you for a minute?
Sure.
What brings you out today?
Women's rights and the assault on women. And we need to get Donald Trump out of the White House.
100%.
Huh?
Do you want to introduce yourself? Where are you from?
Sure. I'm Patty Michelle. I'm from Washington, D.C. And I've been marching for women's rights from Bush to Trump, and I have never seen this sort of assault on women's rights as we're experiencing now. And enough is enough.
100%. Thank you so much for being here. Do you have any advice for people for how they can be more involved and help uplift these very important topics? That's some good advice. Oh, I love that. Hi, I like your RBG superhero.
I lost my buddy.
Oh, it's okay. Bye. Prayers for Our Lady of Peace, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Hi. Do you want to talk to us?
I love you.
I love you too. Well, you know what? She doesn't want to talk to us. Look at all these signs. I mean, seriously, this march truly is a testament to the creativity of the human race. So, sexual assault what went down around the nomination of Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh does seem to be a central theme of this march as well. We're living in the age of Me Too, and it's very clear that a lot of the people are here not just because of the traditional equal rights amendment, pro-choice issues that affect women at a large scale, but because of the truly gross misconduct that's been seen around sexual assault allegations and the systemic degree to which most women will face this in their life, if not directly through the threat of sexual violence that seems to be pervasive both in the American political sphere and the American workplace. Excuse me, can I talk to you? So I love her sign.
Hi, how are you?
Do you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Kelsey. I am from Northern Virginia, and I'm very proud to be here to support women, women's rights, and the rights of all human beings.
Well, and you have a lot to be proud of today because Virginia became yet another state to ratify the Equal Rights Amendment. Woo!
I believe they were the last one that was needed.
Absolutely. It's really exciting. Can you tell people a little bit more about what that means?
So that's been going on since the early 70s, was the Equal Rights Amendment that was passed by, I believe it was approved by 4 presidents, and the deadline keeps getting pushed back. We were waiting for 38 of the 50 states to ratify it, and if Virginia has ratified it, then it is going through.
It's really, really exciting. Yay. Thank you so much. So it is a travesty it took this long.
But better late than never. That's why we're here.
Exactly. Better late than never. Thank you so much. You know, despite the dark overtone of a lot of these issues, this is a very hopeful march. We're coming in at the beginning of a brand new Congress, a Congress that has 100 women, 100 women, more people of color than we've ever seen in a congressional capacity. We have so much media attention being driven towards these charismatic women leaders, especially Representative Tlaib, Representative Ocasio-Cortez, and we have all these wonderful, hopeful women. Ladies, you want to talk to us? Yeah. Come here. Hi. So, what brings you here today?
We march every year. We always come down, so we're really excited. Yeah.
Where are you from? Are you from?
So we're going to Georgetown, so we live right near here.
Yeah. Awesome.
From Massachusetts.
Wonderful. So, okay, what would you say is like the primary thing for us as feminists to be focused on this year?
Birth control, protecting access to birth control and abortion. Yeah.
Protecting Roe v. Wade.
Yeah.
I was just saying, I feel a little bit more hopeful this March because of all of our congressional victories. Do you feel that way?
Yeah,
I was taking the House back.
Yeah, that was big. Yeah, that was huge.
All right, so as young women, how many of you are going to be president?
All of us. It's going to be a group effort. Yeah.
Right, who's first? I'm glad you clearly seem to have thought about this. That makes me feel very hopeful. Any advice for our viewers?
Just keep
fighting.
Vote.
Keep fighting. Definitely vote. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ladies. Bye.
Tried to bury us.
And Zach works in resting.
What does it say? Women belong in the kitchen. Women belong in the house.
Hi. How are you, ladies?
Good, how are you?
What brings you out here today?
Fighting for our rights?
Yeah. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, where are you from?
Hillsborough, North Carolina.
Okay, so you traveled for this. Thank you for being here. Seriously, do you have anything you would like to tell America about the state of women in the nation? Do you like Donald Trump?
No, we do not like Donald Trump. This is unfair and we just. I don't know.
That's how I feel too. Well, awesome. Thank you. Bye, ladies. So behind me, we have a bunch of signs that are testament to the many women organizers, Dolores Huerta, Diane Fossey, and the reality that women have always been leaders in this country, even when they didn't receive the credit. Hi.
Hey, hey. Ho, ho.
What does your sign say?
It says "Say no to sister sexism."
I love this. What does that mean?
It means that we have the power to change people's perspectives and say no to sexism.
I agree. So you seem to be young. Are you a student?
Yes.
How old are you? Am I allowed to ask that?
Yeah, I'm 13.
13. Getting started early.
Yes.
Okay, when are you going to run for Congress?
When I'm a little older and out of college.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. You might want to finish college first.
Yeah.
What do you think is the number one thing young women should know?
That we have the power to make a difference in the world and that we shouldn't be scared to let our power be, shown in the world.
I think that's so true. I mean, it's kind of difficult, right? Yeah. We don't really see women in power the same way we see men in power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there needs to be more women in power, definitely.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
This is what democracy looks like.
Talk to us?
No, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you for being here.
This episode of Black Mirror sucks.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good and my feet are very cold.
My feet are cold too, actually.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I love being here. I love this environment. And Trump's gotta go.
I agree. Do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Victoria. I'm a graduate student at U of M School of Social Work. Check me out.
Hey! Congratulations, by the way. Social work is something I think we need. We have a deficit of social works in this country.
Definitely.
So as a social work, soon to be mental health professional, what would you tell people about staying sane in the age of this nonsense?
Just be true to yourself and know that, what you believe is right. There's just crazy people out there, and we got to stop them.
And not elect them president.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, you need a brain to be president. That should be a requirement. Yeah, I don't think he has one.
I don't know that he has one either. It makes me really uncomfortable. I want the president to be smarter than me.
I know, and he's not smarter than a worm on the ground.
No.
A speck of dirt. Yeah.
Thank you so much. You too. So again, to all our lovely viewers at home who are just now tuning in, we are watching these large number of wonderful women and men march down Pennsylvania Avenue from Freedom Square right in front of the White House. I kind of wonder if he can hear us, but he's rarely here, so I doubt it. We are in front of Trump Hotel. Again, very sketchy situation when you have the President of the United States entwining his business and profits into matters of the public good. But, you know, I mean, this is a man who shut down the government to avoid legal charges, so he probably shouldn't be surprised. There is a lot of hope and intensity in this year's Women's March. It comes right after all the organizing that the Women's March and Center for Popular Democracy did around stopping the nomination of Brett Kavanaugh, and a lot of the women here organized there too. We're also in the middle of a government shutdown with 800,000 people continuing to work without pay or be furloughed entirely. This is now the longest government shutdown that has existed in American history. A lot of people are upset and, you know, oddly hopeful too, because we finally have a Congress that is going to be able to hold this president accountable. Hi.
Hey.
Hi. Do you want to tell me a little bit about it?
About my sign?
Yeah.
Well, what more do I need to say? He's the worst president we've ever had.
That's true. Are you guys?
Yeah. My husband.
Hi. Where are you guys from?
Chicago.
Chicago? Yeah. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Nina. Hi.
My name's Alina.
And I'm John.
Okay. Well, this is a great way to spend family time, I think.
This is our niece, so we're trying to teach her how to stand up for herself. So she could be, you know, a woman's rights, you know, have women's rights at the top of her list.
Yeah.
Of things to do. So she's having fun.
So what have you learned so far?
That women do deserve their rights and women are as strong as men.
100%. Maybe stronger sometimes because, you know, you have to deal with all this bullshit.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say that in front of a child?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
say it. She's heard worse, believe me.
I'm sorry. Well, I agree. Trump is the worst president ever. And that's saying something because we've had some bad presidents.
Yeah, Hayes, he was horrible.
Bush, am I allowed to say that in the
Oh, Bush is horrible too, but, you know, he's a saint compared to the idiot that we got now.
Which is a really sad thing to have to say.
Yes, yeah. A man kills, 20 million people, and he's better than what we have now.
Yeah. Well, hopefully there's nowhere to go but up, right?
Yeah, oh God.
You're supposed to sound optimistic in front of the church.
Yeah, well.
Do you have hope?
Yeah.
You've got a long life yet to live, so you better have some hope.
I got hope.
Thanks so much, you guys. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for talking to us.
Of course.
Have a good day. Good luck.
response to the Donald Trump presidency. But it's become so much more than that. As I said earlier, the Women's March organized Medicare for All lobbying on Capitol Hill yesterday. Maya and I were there. We spoke to you guys a little bit about that through Instagram. It's become about racial justice. It's become about class justice. It's become about freedom from sexual assault. And it's not just about getting this executive out of a position of power. It's about finding a public infrastructure which serves the rights of everybody, and not just the minority rights of a very, very privileged elite. Hi, do you want to talk to us? What are we talking people. That is so true. I agree with everything you just said. Thank you. I was just talking.
This shit is bananas. I said it with my chest and I don't care who I offend. My legs. My balls. Wait a minute. Next time, they never forget.
Let's get it, ladies! People are now chanting, "Lock him up." I can only assume they're referring to the president, but you know, the great thing about living in 2019 is there are any number of criminal politicians that could be in reference to. Can I talk to you? Yeah, sure. Hi.
Freedom. Oh, come on and walk, 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 walk. Come on in. Talk, 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 darling. Talk, 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 sugar. With your mind on freedom. Talk, 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 darling. Sugar. With your mind on freedom. Oh, hallelujah. Your mind, keeping it stayed on freedom. Ain't no harm in keeping your mind stayed on freedom. You know there ain't no harm in keeping your mind stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Lefty loosey. Just one twist. Otherwise, the guy's oh wait, there's another one. I will raise my voice, stand my. Tell me what democracy looks like. Oh, wait, stop, guys. Wait.
Okay. Hi.
This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
Important to vote in every single election, whether it's presidential, gubernatorial, mayoral.
This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. might be a hard road, I'm gonna walk it with you, that's right. Oh, I'm gonna walk it with you. I'm gonna walk it with you. I'm gonna walk it with you.
Just like that river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die, 'cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. See the movies and I go downtown. Somebody keep telling me don't hang around. It's been a long,
big stage. Well, I'm really glad you're here. How does it feel to be here?
We marched all the way across the country.
Okay, so it seems like, you know, you are a woman and you are a man, right? I assume.
I would hope, yes.
So what can you tell men about why they need to support us as women in this quest?
I've decided to only vote for women. I'm not voting for men anymore. It's the end of the white old guys regime. Let's just have women run the world.
I mean, it's been a lot. It's been a lot of chaos, I have to say. And I don't know that I've seen quite as much chaos from women leaders, maybe.
Well, let's go. Keep going. Chaos has not begun yet.
So what is this station? So we're with act.tv. Yeah. We're like cramping my style. Right? I need your body. Yes. Where are the headphones? Go. I know you just there. Oh, no problem. They're in this pocket. Thank you.
Turn around.
Show me your sign.
Get that one.
Brad, are you talking to us?
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I lost the call for a while, but I'm back. So I'm just gonna. I know you're on the other side. I'll just keep this up. Okay, he's on the other shot, but I'm using this as a. Let me get the other shot.
Everybody, right.
smile, don't spread your legs. I could do that, but no one knows me, no one ever will. If I don't say something, if I just lie still, would I be a monster, scare them all away? If I let them hear what I have to say, I can't keep quiet, no. I can't keep quiet, no. A one-woman riot, oh. No, I can't keep quiet for anyone. No, not anymore, 'cause no one knows me, no one ever will. If I don't say something, take that dry blue pill, they may see a monster, they may run away, but I have to do this. I can't keep quiet, no. No, I can't keep quiet, no. A one-woman riot, oh. No, I can't keep quiet. There'll be someone who understands. Let it out now. There must be someone who understands. There'll be someone who understands. I can't keep quiet.
Ashton, thank you very much.
No, I can't keep quiet. No, I can't keep quiet. No, 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 I won't keep quiet.
All right, everybody, we are Song Rise, and we have one more song for you. This next one is called Rise Up. So just real fast, I want you to raise your hand if you've been to a march before. And keep your hand up, okay? Raise your hand if you ran for office this year. Raise your hand if you voted. Raise your hand if you registered somebody to vote. Raise your hand if you took somebody to the polls. All right, raise your hand now if you are gonna rise up with the women's wave, and you are gonna keep rising until we see real change. One more song for you. This is Rise Up.
It's good stuff, man.
Whoa, him out!
I'm tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out and move mountains. We gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. When the silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe, And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet and move mountains. Take it to its feet and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up and I'll do it 1,000 times again for you.
Women's March. We're in New York City, where thousands, and I would even venture to say hundreds of thousands of people are marching here in the streets of New York, not to mention what's happening in D.C., San Antonio. You're watching ACT.TV. Please leave a comment in the feed as you're watching it, wherever you're watching this feed. There are a number of fabulous signs happening here, as you can see them going by.
Donald Trump has got to go. Hey,
tons of great chants. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Donald Trump has got to go. I think there was a good one that just went by. We need a leader, not a creepy tweeter. That was one of my favorite ones so far. The march is as big as it was any of the other years. Police presence is low. And they did not, here in New York, have a large stage talk at the beginning, or not really a lot of presentations. They just got the people out and they got them marching. We are standing on 6th Avenue, right down the middle of New York City, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was the elected official who kicked off the march at the end. It was fabulous, as you can see. You can see the pussy hats are here. There's people of different ages, different nationalities, and honestly, it's not that cold. Maybe because we've been walking for blocks and blocks and blocks. Yeah, hi! A lot of media on the scene. As you can see, look, love, hate, makes America great. Yeah. It's so fun to be here. There's a real spirit of solidarity happening. I don't notice as much as last year as I did that the people are marching in groups with their groups. Last year, a lot of it was segmented. Environmentalists were marching as an environmental group. Women's equality groups were marching separately, but this year it seems that all the folks are just kind of marching together under the flag of the Women's March. Again, you're watching ACT.TV's live coverage of the Women's March from New York City. They're marching down 6th Avenue.
In Washington, D.C., in front of the Trump Hotel. As you can see, we have been here for about an hour now, and people are just marching. There are so many women here. It really is impressive to have an annual event like this where people have not only continued to show up, but continue to show up in a variety of ways. The Women's March has done a tremendous amount of organizing, along with the Center for Popular Democracy, not just around the Women's March itself, but around the Abolish ICE movement, around Medicare for All, around the Stop Kavanaugh, do not put a validly accused sexual criminal into a position of supreme power. And a lot of the women here, as you can see from these signs, are really not just talking about gender. They're talking about union strength. They're talking about healthcare equity. They're talking about all forms of equality.
I can't answer that right now. Hey, Brad, no Mickey. I am. Yeah, we know. I'm actually.
Oh my God! It's like the whole family.
Here we are. We are live, and how great is this to have our elected officials, or soon to be, hopefully, elected officials marching with us on the street, which is wonderful. We're here speaking with Nomiki Konst. She's running for public advocate here in New York City. Can you talk about your experience of today and what you're seeing?
So, I mean, this is my third Women's March. I actually was in D.C. the last 2 times as a reporter doing what you were doing.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to be on the other end where I'm just talking to folks and seeing what they're feeling right now. This is our 3rd year into the Trump administration. It's no longer a fear of fascism. We're living in fascism. What I'm seeing also is we have folks, supporters of our campaign, and, people really want women in leadership. And I think you see the last year in New York, you have a slew of millennial women who have won, who've beaten the establishment, defied the odds, whether it's AOC or Alessandra Biaggi defeating Jeff Klein, the leader of the IDC, or Jessica Ramos, or Catalina Cruz, or Julia Salazar. And so the reception for our campaign has been really wonderful and humbling, especially with the crisis of leadership. There's no women in leadership in city government right now, and there's only 11 in all of city government.
In New York City, one of the most progressive places, ostensibly, in the whole United States, we're supposed to be leading things.
Right, and I think part of that has to do with, unfortunately, the city is owned by special interests and the real estate industry, and so we're about to go by, or maybe we just did, Trump Tower.
Yet another Trump Tower.
Another one, I know, like 5 of them. But Donald Trump was the architect, one of the architects of the tax abatement scheme here in New York, and that has been copied by so many developers who've zapped our city, sucked our city dry of trillions of dollars. And who does that affect? That, when we talk about economics, we don't really talk about who is affected by these tax schemes. People are displaced from their homes, and it's women. It's women of color that are pulled out of their communities who are evicted illegally. 1 in 3 women that are homeless because of domestic abuse. And they are because, think of how many more women who are still in domestic abuse situations, but they don't want to move because housing is so expensive here. So I think the intersectionality of all these issues in New York, it's really important to talk about right now, because it's not just a crisis in leadership in that there are no women, it's that there are very few progressives, like real progressives in New York City government. And having a progressive economic
policy helps women the most. So I think we not only need to elect women, but we need to elect progressive women.
We are coming up on our 3rd year, as you said, under the fascist regime. What is your sense of what's happening here today? Are people just as fired up as they were? Are they more concerned? What is your sense from having obviously talked to so many New Yorkers as a potential public advocate? The election is the 26th, by the way, of February, so don't forget to vote.
The response I'm feeling, and we saw a lot of division, I think, in the weeks coming up to the Women's March. And I think some of that is intentional. It doesn't mean that people's feelings aren't valid. But when we start to pinpoint one person's own personal beliefs and basically try to split apart the largest organized movement in history, 2 years in a row is the largest marches in history, I think that hurts the movement. I think the fear that I have is that we normalize his actions. And, we've seen this over the past years, many publications have reported on it, but fascism has a normalization tactic. When you start to have crises every single day, it's like, what do you prioritize? What do you march about? What do you speak out about? And people get exhausted as well. And the media also starts to normalize it. So suddenly you have the media talking about the tax breaks, and it's normalized again. Or Democrats are pulling out of the Women's March because of an explosive issue rather than saying, we don't agree with one stance, but we still believe that women need to band together in opposition to Trump and the Republican policies. So I think we need to think a little bit deeper about these issues and remember that the end game of fascism, it's not just that we have a racist fascist regime, but it's not just that. It's not economic. It's economic. And I think, what we see with AOC is that she's willing to challenge Democrats and chase down Republicans down the hall to talk about these economic issues, which are the facilitators of the racism, in my opinion.
As a public advocate in New York City, how do you think you could address or begin to address some of the issues that people are marching against today?
Well, so the public advocate is there to be a check on city council, city agencies, and of course the mayor and city government.
Which is so odd because democracy is supposed to be responsive to the people. Right. So the fact that we have to have one person making democracy responsive to the people seems unusual, but hey, we have that, so let's make use of it.
Absolutely, and I think if more people knew about what the public advocate's job is, I think more people would possibly be engaged in using this office, because this office, public advocate's office, is our office. It's an office where people of New York go to file complaints, concerns. If their city council member is not doing their job, they should go to the public advocate. So from my perspective, I think that the public advocate's office needs to be decentralized. It needs to be out of the succession to the mayor now, and that's why you get a lot of politicians who want to run for this office because they want higher office. When I look at this march and what kind of issues the public advocate can address, I think that it's always interesting to walk and talk like this. I think this job is there to hold lawmakers accountable, because when the public advocate,
it's a great place for having an activist in the office.
Right.
What have you been doing before running for public advocate?
So
tell the people.
Hello, ActTV. So I actually know a lot of folks at ActTV because I have been an activist. I've been an organizer. I was an investigative with the Young Turks. I
was with the Young Turks.
You were.
Oh my God.
We didn't overlap though.
No, we didn't. That was before.
Bummer.
Actually, I got your phone number and your email address from Brad, who is running our board, to interview you in another format for your run for public advocate.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
well, we could still
we'll talk about it. Yeah, we definitely should.
And talking.
No, I know it's easier. No, so we will do that.
Fantastic. I love this. So yeah,
final words. Viewing public about today's march and women continuing to be active.
I think more women need to run for office, more progressive women. We need to talk about economic issues because the first people affected by capitalism, in my opinion, are women and women of color. And so the most marginalized members of our society are the ones who don't have rights, who don't have the power in the political equation. So from my perspective as a democratic socialist, those who have power are those who have money. And so to dismantle that power, we need to take on the economic system because it's intersectional. It empowers everybody from the ground up once we start to level the playing field. And I'm very happy that this Office of Public Advocate exists. It's imperfect. The campaign finance system in New York is imperfect. perfect, but that is why it's so important that we need more progressives rising up and running, planning a run, thinking very hard about it, and setting up progressive economic platforms, because that's how we're going to win.
What a great place to hit, to bring social democracy to economics. New York City, where Wall Street is, where all the big banks are. It's wonderful. Good luck to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So we'll be in touch.
Yes, I love it. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Okay, I'll talk to you again. Bye. That was Naomi Constantine.
Watching ACT.tv, and we're live in San Antonio, Texas, DC, and New York right now. You're just seeing the Indigenous leaders opening the rally here in San Antonio, Texas. They open with a prayer and a drum song. And now it looks like they're going to do a round dance. They just announced with mostly the women who are going to contribute. So if you're watching, please please leave us a comment, and please share. And again, this is San Antonio, Texas. We have leaders from the Indigenous movement, and all kinds of social justice groups are here. The signs are amazing. And again, it's tradition to open with a drum song, so that is what people are doing here. And it looks like there's a round dance that's going to start with the women. We're in front of the San Fernando Cathedral in San Antonio, which is one of the oldest cathedrals, if not, I'm not sure if it's the oldest, but it is a historic monument here in downtown San Antonio. Obviously in Texas, some of the issues that are very in the forefront is the wall down on the southern border. People have no wall signs here. Women's right to choose is also a very important issue happening in Texas. And people are mobilizing also to free the children who are in migrant detention camps. Migrant detention camps exist all over the country, but Texas leads the count. Southwest Key is the biggest group, so people have effectively shut down Tornillo in West Texas, but there is also a growing movement to get all of the other ones closed and to free these children, reunite them with their families and with their sponsors.
Organizers are speaking and educating. As you can see, the march is still very much alive. A ton of people here. Oh, hello, ladies. Hi. Would you like to tell us why you're here?
For women's rights, for trans rights, for immigrant rights, to change the world. We're all equal.
Awesome. Thank you. Are you from DC?
No, I came from Portland, Oregon, and my daughter's here from Ohio.
And my sister's here
from Massachusetts with my daughter.
Oh,
family affair.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you for being here, ladies. Do you have any advice for people on how to organize for women wherever they are?
The streets and vote, vote, vote. Get Trump out of office.
Amen to that. Thank you so much, ladies. Excuse me, can I talk to him? Hi. Can I talk to you? Here, I love your sign. Can I show people? Is that okay? See, this young man is holding this sign. What brings you out here today?
Mommy? What did you write on the, what did you do with this? Why did you put that on your side?
Because I did some postcards and now it's a message.
Really?
Yeah. Postcards for voters, and that was his message.
This is an amazing sign. You must be very proud of him.
I'm very proud of him. Why are you out here? What do you want to help? Who do you want to help? Tell it.
People who are homeless and don't have any food.
Thank you so much. Here you go. Sorry, I wasn't trying to steal your sign. Thank you for being here, guys.
Women's Cup.
Do you want me to step aside?
You're watching the 2019 Women's March. We are here in New York City, and guess what? We came across Miss New York just on the random chance. And Miss New York, tell us your actual name, please.
My name is Brianna Antivar, and I'm your 2019 International Miss New York.
That is so exciting. And you're marching today. Talk about why you're marching today. Here, I'll hold it for you so you can hold your sign.
Yeah. Women's rights are something that's so important. I think that events like these really give people like they don't have a voice. And doing pageantry, I've seen how important it is for women to be empowered because that's our only way to share our message. And being a girl in engineering, I know exactly how it feels to be intimidated by other people, and I really think that events like these are so important for everyone to come together.
Can you talk about you're on the younger side of the group.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about what it is to be a young person coming up under Trump and marching today?
So I'm 19 years old, so I recently allowed to vote, and I'm really excited about that. And being 19, this is a really important age because we're seeing the effects of the Trump administration. So I think it's important for girls our age and even younger to come out and just see what's going on and be more exposed to all of this.
Have you, are your friends getting more politically active than they have been?
100%, because we see the effects, you know, in schools and colleges and universities especially. We're adults now, so we definitely do see the effects, and it's really nice to see, you know, all of my friends being so much more politically active and informed than they were before.
How do you guys feel about climate change? The other day, I also host a radio show, and the other day, like, you should talk more about women's issues. On the day we were talking about climate change, and I said, well, climate change is a women's issue. So is the economy. So voting rights. So are everything.
I think all issues are women's issues, not just women's issues, they're everyone's issues, because it affects everyone, not just women, not just men. And you know what? I think facts are facts, and we just need to believe that.
What about your parents? Are they progressive?
They are. They actually are, and I think that they raised me in such a way that they allowed me to make my own decisions, and they allowed me to pick whichever path I wanted. But I personally just believe that it's not about women's rights, it's not about men's rights, it's about everyone's rights, it's about equality. And I think that I'm so lucky to have such supportive parents in that sense.
You're a person of color, obviously, and you're Miss New York. Can you talk a little bit about what that is in order to represent our city that way?
So when I competed, I actually was the only Indian girl competing for the title. I was also the youngest girl competing for the title, and I was the only girl in a STEM major competing for the title. So I had a lot of things that I was a minority in, but, you know, here I am, and I won. So it's really
Congratulations.
Exciting. Thank you.
And you get to be on for the whole year.
Yeah, so I get to compete at internationals in July, and fingers crossed, take home the international title. So we'll see.
Well, good luck, and thanks for marching today.
Thank you so much.
Great.
Thank you.
You're watching the Women's March here in New York City. Back to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Spirits. There you go. It'll warm me up for a few seconds.
Documents declare. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. All men are created equal. For more than 200 years, some of us for more than 400 years, we have worked, fought, scrapped, climbed to make that declaration include all of us. And now we have fought through Reconstruction, through the Civil Rights Movement, through the suffrage movement, through the farm workers movement, through Stonewall, to this moment where we stand and declare that we are equal and that we are here to secure all of our inalienable rights. Now, some people ask the question, well, aren't you happy yet? Aren't you satisfied yet? Don't you know that women are the biggest voting bloc in the nation? Aren't you satisfied? Aren't you satisfied that Nancy Pelosi is the Speaker of the House? Aren't you satisfied? Aren't you satisfied that there are a record number of women in Congress? Aren't you satisfied? Aren't you ready to stop? And we just say today, oh no, we're not ready to start. We're just getting started. And they say, well, it's time for you to stop. And we say, oh, we can't stop. We can't stop. We won't stop until every child is reunited with their parents at the border. We can't stop. We can't stop. We won't stop until every child has free, full access to education. We can't stop. We won't stop until everyone has full, free, fair access to health care. We can't stop. We can't stop. We won't stop until every black mother's child, every Latina mother's child, every Asian mother's child is able to walk the streets fair, free, and safely, and not fear. Without fear of their lives being taken by the people who are paid to protect us. We can't stop. We won't stop until every black woman, every white woman, every trans woman, every Latina woman, every Asian woman, every Native woman, our lives are valued all the same, and we have the same protections and the same freedoms and the same rights as our white brothers and sisters. We can't stop. We won't stop. This wave is just starting. Come on, sisters, let's ride the wave.
Men of all backgrounds, we are here to celebrate and understand the issues that affect us all. We will be hearing from the most amazing community organizers and activists across the state today. You will hear their experiences, and we will be able to connect one another with the struggle we live with and how we deal with them differently. I am a trans woman, and my struggle is different than many of us in our community. I came here from humble beginnings, with a very Catholic family who pushed me out for being different. Through struggle, perseverance, and strong friendships, I was able to get on my feet and stand here with you all. As Barbie, the amazing Barbie, just mentioned, I am a healthcare organizer, and I will fight because I too had a story that pushed me into activism. 6 years ago, I ended up on the hospital. I did not know what I had. I did not have health care. When I came out, turns out that I owed $15,000. How is that fair? Is that fair? No! Is that fair? No! So I am going to fight, and I am going to fight until I can't stand anymore. We need to fight together to achieve what is a human right. Medicare for all. Now I want to introduce you to an amazing justice organizer. She's a community organizer through SATX4. The 4 stands for principles we stand by: justice, unity, equality, and change for all. She's also known for being a huge supporter of the Black Lives Matter. Welcome, Lindsay Golson.
What up, good people? Where are my black women at? I need y'all in the front. I need y'all. We've been in the back too long. I need y'all up here. I need your magic. This is a big crowd. This is a huge crowd. I need we need black. I need my black woman. If you're black and you're trans, I need you in the front. If you're a black woman, if you're black and you're queer, I need you right here. Thank you. Y'all want to hold it for me? Y'all got it. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so honored to be here to speak to all of you. I just want to say that black women, for so long, we've been asking for a seat at the table. We're no longer asking, clearly. We're no longer asking for a seat at the table. We are the table, okay? We've been holding up the table for so long. We have been trying to save this country since Plymouth Rock landed on us. Just wanted to... For 400 plus years, we're in our 400th year since we've been displaced from our country. So I just want to say that we deserve to be heard. We deserve to be cherished. We deserve the support from our community. And black women, I want you to look behind you and recognize these faces, because you may not have this privilege again to be supported as much as you will do today.
Thank you.
Look around you. Recognize the faces. So I just want to say that the reason why I know that black women have not been supported, because in healthcare, the maternity death rate is super high, and that's ridiculous. We are not being heard by our doctors. We are being misdiagnosed by our doctors. We're dying. We deserve to live. Not only that, our little girls are going missing. Our little boys, they're going missing. And so I just want to put that out there for the community of San Antonio. Because when you see, when you leave here and you feel the sisterhood and you're feeling good and you're like, yes, sisterhood, theyhood is working. But after you leave here and you see a black woman and she may have an attitude and you say, oh, that's a black woman. No, she's depressed. She has anxiety. She has PTSD. Check in with her. Ask her, how is she doing? Not only that, when you see a black woman and she is standoffish and she looks angry, no, she's not being protected. She's being neglected. Check in with her. Ask her, how is she doing today? Not only that, when you see a little black girl and you see her as a woman, no, she's a child. Take care of her. Treat her as a child. Treat her as your own. We are chosen family today, right? Yes! She is family. Okay? So I'm just putting that out there, and I'm giving you guys the accountability now. You've been here. I'm looking at all your faces. I'm going to remember you. So if I see you out there and you see a man that is treating me injusticely, or I don't know, is that a word? If he's being unjust to me, I'm making up words today, y'all. If you see a man or if you see a person in blue and he's not treating me like he would treat his wife or his child, stop him and say, hey, hold on, wait. What's going on with her today? Ask her. When a black woman is being slightly voluminous, I don't know, I'm making up words today. Her volume is a little escalated. She's not being loud, she's frustrated, and she's not being heard. So today, I'm so thankful to be here and to represent you all, especially the black women, the black trans women, the black queers, the black LGBTQI.
Pyramid of destiny. Whatever affects one of us directly affects all of us. And so it is that we black women in NCNW are committed to the kind of civic engagement that will substantially improve the lives of all of us. And we stand in solidarity with our sisters of all hues, with our sisters of all backgrounds, with our sisters of all conditions. We of NCNW stand with Indigenous women. We stand with poor women. We stand with immigrant women. When we can, we stand with disabled women, with Jewish women, Muslim women, Latina women, Asian and Pacific Islander women. We at NCNW stand with lesbian, bisexual, and trans women. We stand with old and young women. We stand with white women. The 4 million black women of NCNW are committed to the struggle for civil rights, for women's rights, for human rights. And we will stay in this struggle until no girl, until no woman stands alone, stands afraid, or stands without equal rights.
We are here as Jews and as Jewish women of color marching. Giving thanks to the Most High God, who is good and whose mercies endure forever. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. The prophet said, we are now faced with the fact that tomorrow is today. We are confronted with the fierce urgency of now. In this unfolding conundrum of life and history, there is such a thing as being too late. This is no time for apathy or complacency. This is the time for vigorous and positive action, the prophet said, Dr. King. As a new member of the Women's March Steering Committee, I am feeling both humbled and super proud to be standing here with you, with my sister April, with all of our sisters and Jewish women of color who have stepped up and stepped out in this moment to lift up a new Jewish reality. We are here for ourselves. We are here for our families. We are here for our communities. We are here for this country. And we are here for the world. At this time, on most Saturday afternoons, I would be at a table with my husband and my children enjoying our Sabbath meal. We would be taking comfort in our traditional observance of the Sabbath. Yet today, I am standing here with you in a wave at the edge of the sea, because there comes a time when there is a need for something in our tradition called pikuach nefesh. Saving our and others' lives becomes tantamount to our comfort. We are here at the Women's March, standing with you against the longest government shutdown in history. We are standing here with you and all those whose labor and lives have been devalued by a government whose policies devalue humanity. We are affirming on this day that human rights are women's rights, and that women's rights are human rights. We are standing on this platform, honoring the fact that the Women's March policy platform is fighting for changes in our government that will mitigate suffering for all of us. We are here to positively shape our future. We are standing with women who are involved in the criminal injustice system. We are standing with refugees and immigrants due to wars. We're standing with women from the Caribbean. We are standing with women from Africa. We are standing with those who have been subjugated by xenophobic laws and economic exploitation. We are standing with Indigenous women. We are lifting up hashtag MMIW, our need for environmental justice, our need for reproductive justice, our need for gender justice, our need to stand tall and clear as women of color and as Jews. I am here as the circle leader of a brilliant wave of Jewish women of color and Jewish women who have come to Washington to issue an invitation to all women to stand in solidarity with us, to help us to be fully seen, to help us to join movement work, to acknowledge that the pain of anti-Semitism is real and it cannot be condoned, equivocated, or excused, but must be dealt with face to face, heart to heart, eyeball to eyeball as family. Jewish women of color are here to do this work together, and we're to do it in the context of liberation, because the fight for justice means being intersectional. It means that there is no other movement for us to be a part of. It means we're doing this work because we love our people, all of them. Shabbat begins with a phrase. We always begin Shabbat with a Hebrew phrase. It goes, Vayihi Erev, Vayihi Boker, Yom HaShishi. And it was evening, and it was morning, one day. And the reason why we say that is because when it's evening and when it's morning, you look up at the sky and it looks the same. You don't know if it's getting dark or you don't know if it's getting light. You don't know if it's a womb. You don't know if it's a tomb. You don't know. But is it in that unknown that we as Jewish women of color will jump in? We will jump into the unknown and declare a new reality that draws forth liberation. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Isn't my sister Yavila brilliant? Woo. So much brilliance today. Shabbat Shalom and good afternoon, my beautiful people. I am here, as Yvila mentioned, standing alongside 75 other inspired Jewish women of color and a whole contingent of Jews who are present here today. I see you. What a joy it is to be here today, and an honor to be a member of the new steering committee of the Women's March. My name is April Baskin. I work as a public speaker, activist, and diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant who supports people in working more effectively across lines of difference. As a proud, multiracial Jewish woman of color with Black, Jewish, and Indigenous Native American heritage, I come to this work honestly. I carry many communities with me today and every day in my life and work. I stand on the shoulders of giants like my dear sisters and friendtors, Yvila and Shahana, and many others on this stage and around the country. I come mostly with a message of hope and joy today, but I also want to be honest in acknowledging that for many of us, the past year has been filled with a lot of heartache, pain, and quite frankly, exhaustion. And I want to be specific here in terms of who I'm talking with. I'm speaking to everyone here today for whom this march matters. I'm speaking to the people who couldn't be here for medical reasons who are home, and for the people who were afraid for some reason and will watch this on the live stream later or watch the feedback later on YouTube. This march is for you. Just in case you are questioning, give yourself the time you need to heal, but we are here ready to walk alongside you on this path. So please join us. So many of us, especially women and allies from communities targeted by oppression, are deeply homesick for a place we have never been to yet, never experienced, for a world of justice and equity, truly, that has not yet come into being. That world is ours to create and claim. It's not only okay, but necessary to demand more than just breathing just a little and calling it life. Now is the time to ensure that we transmute our collective longing and yearning into powerful, sustained collective action on this day and in the months and years ahead. But when we are exhausted and scared, as many of us are, and for good reason, how could we possibly do that? My desire, my invitation for each of us is to remember and rekindle a sense of hope. Remember that? We've had a lot of hope before, y'all. We can have it again. I believe our actions and leadership are most powerful when we are truly able to envision a positive future in which all of us are not only free from injustice, but experience the joys of justice and kinship. All right, I'm going to get a little personal, y'all. One of my go-tos for rekindling hope in what is possible I want to share a few brief lines of a song I learned in Jewish summer camp. Woo woo! By legendary musician, Jewish feminist, and leader Debbie Friedman. May she rest in peace. For those of you who know it, feel free to sing along. You'll recognize the passage possibly from the Holy Book. I sing, I can't sing, y'all, so tolerate me here.
We'll help you out.
Thank you. And the old shall dream dreams, and the youth shall see visions, and our hope shall rise up to the sky. We must live for today. We must build for tomorrow. Give us time, give us strength, give us love. We get to call on our ancestors, our songs, and our feminine traditions to carry us through this moment. I share these beautiful, uplifting lyrics with everyone here and everyone watching this. It's critically important that we bring our full selves joyously to this work. Yvila and I and all of our brilliant Jewish sisters of color and all of our Jewish sisters and allies here today, we are prepared to walk alongside you. All of us, everyone here, every single person here, all the white people here, all the black people here, all the people of color, pan-ethnically, Jews, all of us, we ain't got nothing to lose but our chains. Let's get free, y'all.
When you talk to your politician, your representative, tell them to get behind the federal domestic worker bill of rights. Let's get ourselves recognized for the work we do. Tenemos que abogar por nosotras, ¿verdad? Siempre le preguntan a un hombre. Okay, guys, I'm out of time. Roma will be screening on the 24th of February. On the 24th, 24 de febrero, vamos a tener la película Roma en el Bijou. Okay, a las 5 de la tarde, ¿nos acompañan, por favor? Para poder tener una discusión sobre este mismo tema, de que nosotros como mujeres nos necesitamos unas a otras. Por favor, gracias. She's a national progressive activist and former congressional candidate. Her entry in activism was spurred by personal tragedy. Please welcome Amy Vilela.
As she said, my name is Amy Vilela, and I am so glad to be here with so many amazing ones of my sisters. I come before you not only as a woman, but as a mother, a military spouse, an accountant, and a healthcare activist, and most recently as a 2018 congressional candidate. You might say I entered into activism just in the last couple years, but the truth is, like many of you, I have been fighting my whole damn life. Being raised by a single mother was my first introduction to how hard that struggle is. Getting married in high school and later finding myself a single mother, I knew exactly how hard the struggle is for so many of us, as I was on Medicaid, WIC, and food stamps. And eventually I found myself to a point where I could work my way through college with assistance from the government and from hard work. I thought that I had finally accomplished the American dream, but that is all a facade. I forgot the most important thing, that we are only as strong as the most vulnerable in our community. When I lost my 22-year-old daughter, Shalyn, to our for-profit, barbaric healthcare system. The nightmare began when Shalyn went to a local ER. She had every symptom and risk factor for a blood clot. My daughter was African American, she had sickle cell trait, she was on birth control, and just completed a long drive. When she first got there, the first thing they asked her was, "Do you have health insurance?" Shalyn replied, "No," and her fate was sealed. Not long after, Shalyn had to take a flight. When she landed, she went into a cardiac arrest. The blood clot had broken off of her leg and traveled to her lungs. I had to do what no parent should have to do, and that's hold your child as they die a needless death. The last thing I told her was, "Shalyn, you will not have died in vain. Healthcare is a human right, and the only plan I'll settle for is Medicare for all. And healthcare is a woman's issue. Right here in Texas, we have one of the highest rates of maternal death. Sure. And that only gets higher if you're a woman of color. You are 4 times as likely to die if you are uninsured than your insured counterparts. We are watching our neighbors and our family members die needlessly. And why are our politicians okay with this? Even with the ACA in place, 30,000 people are dying a year from a lack of health care. And until we pass Medicare for all, the dying will continue. One needless death is one too many. But in order for us to have true health care justice, we must have racial, social, and economic justice, for they are all intersectional. Unfortunately, most of our legislators are corrupt and beholden to their corporate donors. We sisters must be the voice that tells them enough is enough. We are not going to accept less than change now. And as I said, women played a bigger role in the elections of 2018. We know what it's like here on the ground. We're raising our children on our own. We know we need our whole damn dollar and a livable wage. As members of the LGBTQ community, women and trans women have been leading the way for equal rights. Women of color have been tirelessly key figures in continuing the civil rights movement. Many of our sisters are here fighting for environmental justice. Many of you are fighting these inhumane immigration policies that are tearing families apart. We are the voice, we are strong. They have tried to tell us we are weak. They have tried to make us make less and tell us you're weak. Take away our education. Make sure that we feel compressed. But you know what? We are strong. As one voice, we can fight and move our legislators for policies that will benefit all of us, like a livable wage, a federal jobs program that could be accomplished with a Green New Deal, tuition-free college, Medicare for all. That's a great start. They have underestimated us women, and we are coming out of the belly of the beast. And we are rising because we are strong. We are coming. Hear us roar.
For Amy, she's another organizer of the Women's March. So just to clarify a little bit,
you're watching the Women's March here from New York City. Thanks for watching our live coverage of the 2019 Women's March on act.tv. I don't know about
much for being with us. That's all from DC. We have had so many brilliant, fabulous organizers out here in the streets today representing for equality and healthcare, racial justice, gender justice. The Women's March is a profoundly active organization. They will keep going. Join in on their energy on their website, womensmarch.com, and as always, do more than watch. Thank you so much, you guys.
So, a lot of new condos, a lot of new buildings going up. There's just a lot of changes in our neighborhoods, and I don't know if people have been noticing, but people
Thanks
have been
everybody for watching ActTV's live coverage of the 2019 Women's Marches across the nation. Please like, share, and leave a comment.
And as soon as the condos
Thank you so much.
went up, people in my neighborhood who were families, who were friends of mine, started moving out. And now I live in Dignity Hill, and I'm seeing the exact same thing happening there. Neighbors are coming together and asking each other, do you know about the property taxes are going up? Do you know about the buildings that are